Yeah. What's up?
We're live. Here we go.
Whoa.
So, all right. So this is a new podcast between Jim and I. We don't have any idea where this is going to go. We don't even have a title for it, but we're just going to kind of rock and see what's up. And if it's cool and people like it, maybe we'll keep going.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about first?
I mean, the weekend, I asked you earlier what your weekend was like. It didn't seem like you had too much going on.
No, I sit and edit for fun. I work for fun. That's my life at this point. Adulting, that kind of shit, you know?
I visited the Easter Bunny with Max. That was cool.
Yeah, I noticed that. I have to say that Easter Bunny stuff is so fucking creepy to me.
It's so creepy. And you know what? It was funny was that Easter Bunny was kind of freaking out a little bit too. Like, I watched, he was having some type of panic attack under his costume, and his like leg was going with the kid right before.
The Easter Bunny wasn't having a panic attack. The human in the costume was.
Yeah. And I was like, what's going on here? And it was, I was like, is everything all right? Like, I was just kind of keeping an eye on it because then Max was up next. I'm like, and then he was like, it looked like he needed to take a walk after those kids. Like, I'm like, what's up with this guy? And so, or girl, I had no idea
Maybe the kid
what it was.
before pissed him.
Who knows?
Pissed all over.
I have no clue, but it was like, it was a little concerning. And then it was cool though. Max went up and got his photo, and I was taking video of it, and the lady's like, hey, no personal photography. I'm like, yeah, all right, lady.
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna listen to you. I just gave you $50 for a Polaroid.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. For real, I think I paid $50.
Yeah,
I'm like,
of course
I paid you the full thing. You worried about me taking a video on my cell phone? I was like, yeah, how are you gonna stop
First of all, I don't think that those photos are gonna hold up in 20 years. You've seen the Easter Bunny photos from like 30 years ago.
With the evil looking
that
bunny?
Motherfucker is evil.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's still evil. It's still stupid. It still doesn't make sense, and I think that your photo will prove that in the future. I do.
We'll see. Max had a good time. The first time we took him to see the Easter Bunny, he was freaking out. This time he was like, hey, what's up, Easter Bunny? You're my friend now. So it was good.
All right.
So it was that. We ended up going to Tara's parents' house later, and the Grammys were on. You know, it was a little later in the night, and I was having a couple of drinks with them, and it was on in the background. So I wasn't like fully paying attention, but you know.
Wait, who's hosting that thing now?
So they had, first off, it was the first time it was ever in Vegas, which I thought was interesting. It was like they kind of didn't probably want to deal with all the COVID bullshit with LA. Yeah. And they were like, fuck this, let's move it out of this bullshit town. So that's the first thing that I realized. It was in Vegas for the first time ever. And then I missed the intro. I guess there was some bullshit with Zelensky from Ukraine coming in and talking. It's like,
of course,
what the fuck?
We got Ukraine pride. Ukraine pride.
Yeah, we got to groom everybody into a World War III. Let's keep it going. You know, fucking assholes. And then, but what I noticed, they had that guy Noah Trevor, who I personally
that dude sucks.
I personally don't care at all for him. You know, he's kind of just like he's behind. He has no original opinion.
He's a liberal cuck. He's just reading from the board, you know. Yeah, every time he's just reading from the board.
Every time. And I mean, the one thing that they did, which I noticed, is they kind of, the way they filmed it and they set it up, they had all of the regular people, you know, up front. And it was kind of an intimate way.
Would you say the front was covered with the Will Smiths of the industry?
No, they weren't there. And I think that was done for a reason. They were like, we kind of got to pull away from that after the Oscar bullshit. So that seemed like that was done correctly to kind of make it seem a little more inclusive and just like not so fucking elite Hollywood bullshit. And then the performances, I would say what I caught were pretty dope. Like Billie Eilish was good. She was great. She was rocking out with her brother, Phineas, on guitar. Started off in a dope set, actually. I love that, what they did. She started off in like this really cool room with a chair that was attached to the ceiling, like a big, like, you know, sofa chair.
I hope she doesn't fall at one of these stupid things.
Well, no, it was just in the ceiling. She's just in it. She's in this room, and the room had water. It was like, you know, to her ankles. It was just a dope little set. You know, it was like one, I don't know, probably 10 by 10 set.
All right.
And then she went up and it was on top of a house, and then they were jamming on the house. It was pretty dope. So I appreciated that performance. That was cool. And you know, I think BTS performed. I caught that one. That was wild. Those guys, they're crazy.
I don't know what BTS is. To me, that's behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, it's that South Korean boy band.
Oh, I had no idea. I feel like I've heard, but I don't know.
They're massive.
Of course they are. That's why I don't know.
They're part of that South Korean machine where, like, they're the tip of the iceberg, though. Like, they're the tip top of, like, they put together these bands. They own nothing, you know.
It's like the Asian Menudo.
Exactly. Yeah. But they're, like, they're the highest level of them. So they're crushing it. Like, I remember Jenna Holiday was the one who turned me on to them, told me about them. She loved them. She was like, this she's all about that stuff. So, I mean, now they're massive. They're like one of the biggest probably acts in the world, definitely. Even on like probably revenue gross.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, no, it seemed all right. It wasn't, they kept a lot of it seemed like the COVID bullshit out. It wasn't too pandering. I mean, I think that they wanted to kind of keep it a little even keel and get away from the Oscars.
Smart move.
Yeah.
So what was
Kanye wasn't there.
Oh, so there was no
He wasn't
fun.
allowed to be there.
What do you mean he wasn't allowed? How does that come down?
Well, he was supposed to perform and they pulled his performance, from what I understand.
Oh, because of Billie Eilish?
No,
he was saying that he wasn't going to perform because she was there and she said absolutely nothing that he took wrong. There's some big bullshit. I remember hearing this like a month ago.
Well, the Grammys said it was because of his conduct online. Probably the shit with Kim K and him, kind of going off. And,
yeah, he's out of his tits. I
mean,
love him.
I do too. I think he's the man, and I think he's not wrong on a lot of fronts, and I think he has to do what he has to do in order to kind of cut through the noise.
Yeah, he's dealing with the TV war machine. Like, those people are evil. The Kardashians are complete shit. I don't care what anyone thinks.
He's dealing with way more than that. He's dealing with the whole media narrative in general, to the point that he's become so... Like, I had a conversation with my father-in-law last night, and he didn't even realize how wealthy Kanye was.
No, why would he? Because they keep that shit secret.
Yeah, he's like, he just thinks of Kanye as this like crazy guy that's a rapper that gets on stage and pulls the microphone from Taylor Swift. But, on the other hand, Kanye West is probably one of the most prolific artists ever, is probably the most creative artist to date in regards to the hip hop genre. And he is probably the most controversial artist probably ever as well. And he's also one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest artist. He's at, I think, based off of what I was looking at last night, there's a different consensus in regards to what his net worth is, but it was like, it looked like he was around,
3 or 4 bill, right?
Well, yeah, he says 10, and they were saying it looked at around like 5.9, so 6 bill.
That's pretty intense, dude. That's real money.
That's real dough.
That's more money than Trump and most of those psychopaths in Washington who've been stealing money from the system forever. Yeah. That's crazy money. That's sneaker money, though. That's not music money.
Well, he saved Adidas. Him coming in and doing that, he put them back on the map, and they were at a critical time in regards to going under, and that whole situation worked out. And the thing about it is Kanye's a powerful dude. Like, that dude, he cuts through the noise, he gets press, so they want to paint him as crazy regardless. Like, yeah, everyone has their crazy moments. He's a genius, right, in regards to his creativity and his ability to scale. So he's going to have these crazy moments. It comes with the territory.
Everyone's crazy.
And so his is just completely public. Anyone has a meltdown and you're one of the most iconic people in the public, it's a known thing. Is he this like straight up crazy person that needs to be put away? That's what they want you to think that. They want the average person to think that, so that anything he says that's against the narrative can just be like, oh, he's crazy.
Of course. That's like calling someone a conspiracy theorist, and then
it's
6 months later, oh, look at that, it's all correct.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't, they pulled his performance. He wasn't there. He was nominated for like 3 awards. I think he won 2 of them.
What awards?
I believe it was rap song and rap song with melody or something like that. But he lost album of the year, rap album of the year to I'm not sure who it was actually.
Yeah. It was very impactful, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I think it was Tyler, the Creator, but still, Donda was like next level. Like, Donda was a great album. Like, it's a great album. Like, I listen to that all the time. That was like every single song is at another level. It's like creatively, like, it just, no one's doing what he does. Every time he puts out a record, it's a totally unique thing, and that's what I love about it. It's like he pushes boundaries and then he sets the tone for what the rest of the industry has to do, and that's what Kanye does. He's always done.
I'm not knocking Tyler, the Creator, but his best work's about a decade behind him right now.
I agree. I mean, Tyler's a man, and he does great work, and he has live performances sick, but he's not pushing boundaries like Kanye.
So is there any controversy? No one got slapped? No bullshit?
No, nothing. No bullshit. No one got slapped.
Oh, all right. Well, sounds a little boring to me.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was, from what I saw, it was solid. But yeah, the thing about it is, like you were saying, like, I think everyone's kind of, especially after that, everyone's kind of sick of the bullshit, and I think that resonated for the Grammys, where it's like, let's just keep it as chill as possible. Let's focus it around performances. Let's focus it around the music, and not, as much as the politics, and much as, like these controversial things that we need to get attention that actually kind of overshadow what it's supposed to be, especially what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. It's like no one's even talking about the fact that Will Smith won his first Oscar.
No, actually, I disagree. I think a lot of people are talking about that.
No,
and
well, that's not the focus.
It was a way to take away from the stupid slap. They immediately give him.
See, I don't see that at all.
Really?
I see it as
I think it depends on where your social media is at, is what you're getting fed.
No one's talking about his Oscar. That, like, the number one thing. If the smack didn't happen, that would be the headline. Will Smith finally wins his first Oscar.
True.
That's not the headline.
Right.
That wasn't the headline. We woke up in the morning.
Course, no,
I didn't even watch it. I woke up in the morning. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I know. I sent you a stupid slap at 6 a.m.
It was literally the whole weekend. I mean, there's still shit still coming out about it. Like, it's still a fucking... We're talking about it right now. It's so fucking stupid.
I feel stupid talking about it. Who gives a shit about Will Smith and his bitch?
Exactly. Yeah. But what I'm saying is it overshadowed the fact that he finally accomplished the biggest fucking thing in his life. And that's the biggest thing in his life.
That's actually saying a lot. I mean, I could sit here and knock Will Smith, but he's done some fucking dope movies. Some of the acting he's done is next level, and I think he fucked himself by acting like a damn fool.
Well, that movie particularly, King Richard, is fucking great. I bet. I didn't even know about the movie, and Tara just put it on probably 2 weeks ago. I'm glad I watched it before this shit, because I probably wouldn't watch it now. I'd be like, fuck him, you know what I mean? But I watched it and I was like, wow, this movie's A, amazing. B, I didn't know any of this shit about the Williams sisters, and I didn't know anything about the dad at all, and he played that guy like at a level that I was like, that's the guy. Like, that wasn't Will Smith. That was the guy. That was Richard
Some
Williams.
of the greats absolutely channel people. Like Jamie Foxx channels the shit out of Muhammad Ali's boxing side guy, whatever, I forget his name. He also channeled the shit out of Ray Charles. Will Smith does it all the time. Jim Carrey's a master at it.
He did it with Muhammad Ali.
Right.
That was the last time.
Right. There you go.
That was the last time Will Smith was nominated for an Oscar. Was when he played Ali.
And it was incredible.
And he didn't win, and he won this time, and no one fucking cares. No one's talking about it. They're talking about the slap. That's what I'm saying. It's like they're talking about some bullshit that he, a broken man. They're talking about a broken man with a fucked up relationship, and he had no self-control, and looked at his weakest moment in front of fucking everybody on his biggest night. Weakest moment, biggest night.
Well, that's what Denzel Washington actually said. He said, when you're at the highest point in your life, the devil comes knocking.
Yeah.
So
the devil was sitting right next to him.
Oh, the devil was definitely there. So let's get back to the Grammys, and never mind Will Smith and his bullshit. Besides, it's a week out anyways, and no one cares. But yeah. What else about the Grammys? I mean, because it seems like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, obviously we're both into music, but who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do we gotta care?
There's so many acts, there's so many artists right now that are crushing it, that are killing it, that are, making headlines, that are, at the top of the game in regards to Spotify and fan growth and all that shit that you don't see there. Obviously, it's the major label game, even if, and at the major label game, it's still at the very tip top of the major label game. You could be signed to a
popularity game.
It's a popularity game. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I never, would I like to win a Grammy? I think I'd like to. I think as time goes on, I care less. I think when I was younger, I cared a lot more. I thought, based off of just the fucking circumstances of the entertainment world, like, it seems like such a shitty click now at this point, now that, especially after all the COVID shit where everyone has to be fucking programmed and be right on point and play the game, the narrative, and be right on point with whatever the fucking the media is telling them and the machine is telling them, that it's like, I don't even give a fuck to be part of that club at all. As I've, as we've progressed into that world, like, even if I was to, have that next big hit song as a producer, as a writer, as an executive producer, at whatever role, it's like, do I want to even mingle in that world? It's like, no, I don't give a flying fuck to be honest.
I'll interject right now and say, all right, from all my shit talking right now, I definitely would want to win a Grammy. And about 10 years ago, I did a record with a really good friend of mine, and it got nominated a lot in like the Americana genre. And I got a little glimpse into the bullshit of it.
It's a politics game.
It's a politics. You got to pay your money. You got to hit up all the people on like the Danny Barrows of the world, and you've got to get them to go out there and work for you and talk to people and try to get them to vote for you. That's all it is, and that usually comes with paying some money.
It's a political campaign. You're shaking hands and kissing babies and,
it is.
And paying people off. And obviously at a certain level, it's not like that. Once you get to a Kanye level or, it's almost automatic. You're going to get a nomination once you're at a certain level. But on the grind up, these labels are doing this. They're creating that machine. They're putting that backing. They're the ones putting that out. And then as an independent, you got to have that machine or that infrastructure to kind of cut through the noise. And it's a big campaign. It's like, it's like, do you want to play that game? So, like we've had these conversations with our friend Meredith Chin, where it's like, do you guys want to do that? That's a whole plan. You got to like build that plan. You got to have the infrastructure. You got to have the release. You got to have everything around it, around a successful release, and then also have that machine going in order to focus on winning that Grammy, to build that as the PR piece or the accolade around that project. And it's like, it's a lot, but everything's a lot. So it's like, if that's your goal and that's what you want to do, you got to fucking do it. Like you got to 100% say, I'm going to win a Grammy. I'm not doing anything else. This is the focus.
Right. And that usually happens before the album even comes out. Everyone involved says, oh, this one's going to take it this year, or we're going to contend, or we're going to go X, Y, and Z this to the Grammys. It's all done before the album comes out. People think it's some kind of like, and the winner is, everybody knows what's going on ahead of time. It's not a mystery.
And there is times where something comes out of left field that was like mind-blowing or industry-changing.
Usually on a lower level, like some kind of
best new artist.
Yeah.
But even some of that is like kind of like, there's only been a couple of those that were like, whoa, what the fuck, out of nowhere. And I think one of the things too is like Billie Eilish has been consistent, and she was one of those, and she came out of nowhere. But it's funny because I even had this conversation last night where it was, she came out of nowhere, and her it's like they made these songs in their bedroom. And I think people don't understand that. It's like most hit songs are mixed or have a production piece from someone's bedroom.
Yeah.
The bedroom aspect is just a PR piece to people that don't understand production. That kid is a fucking monster producer. Like Phineas could fucking produce a hit song in a closet at an airport, at a fucking Starbucks. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't need a major studio in order to produce a hit. That's not what it comes down to anymore. You know what I mean?
Way.
Like, people
never did.
But the average person doesn't get that. And so when they see that PR piece, like, oh, they did it in their bedroom, it's like, every fucking hit song is done in somebody's bedroom, especially like in the hip hop world. Every fucking beat maker is sitting in their bedroom making the beat that's going to end up on the radio. So it's like, it's so funny because everyone thinks that, oh, that's a huge thing. And then they're like, they don't realize that their parents are already majorly connected into the industry. Like the mother was, she's had done a ton of work in the video game world and entertainment world. The father is an actor. I think they're both actors. Like they're deep in there. You know what I mean?
That's the important part, actually, having the in the business.
Yeah, and just having the understanding and the access, and like they fed these kids the ability to be as good as they were. And I think that's a great thing. But I think everybody thinks they're just some like middle class family that isn't connected to the industry at all, and they made this record in the bedroom. That's the narrative that if you don't know, and it's a good PR spin, and so.
Well, two things about them. A, they are talented, and B, at least with Billie, I think that her I don't give a fuck attitude, when you wish something into the universe, you either wish it was all, oh, I need this, and you focus on it, or you're like, I don't give a fuck. And sometimes either one of those things will work. Sometimes you get the opposite. I think she just doesn't care to such a level that it works for her. And I think he probably is the exact opposite. I think he cares a lot. I don't know. I'm just talking off the side of my mouth.
I don't know either, but I just know that, she comes off like that, but I mean, her work isn't like as if she's just throwing it together. She's great. Her talent's at a high level. I remember when the first time I heard like that first song, like I think it's called like Blue Ocean Eyes or something. I don't even remember. Ocean Eyes maybe. I was like, wow, that's fucking cool. It's unique, so they've been doing some good shit for a long time.
What else is going on in this Grammy shit? Because I don't want to stay on the Billie Eilish or the Will
I think
Smith.
Chappelle might not have been invited either.
Why?
He was nominated for spoken comedy or something like that. I don't know. Probably because it was transgender shit.
All right. I'm looking on my phone right now just quickly to see what's up with the Grammy. Louis C.K. won a Grammy and triggered a bunch of crybabies. That's cool. I didn't hear about that yet.
Why? Because he was caught jerking it off? What's his deal? I feel like he's got a bunch of controversy always surrounding him.
No, he likes to beat off in front of women.
There was something new. There was something else. Him saying like the N-word or something in a like. There's a new thing going on right now about Louis C.K. Like there's a brand new thing, like a big.
That's what happens because he started creeping back in. They started to let him in. He started torn again.
Yeah, they just put their fucking foot back on his neck.
Yeah, they stepped on him one more time.
Yeah. I don't know too much about him. I mean, I think he's funny, and I don't really understand the situations. I don't, but.
Well, regardless of him jacking it, he's pretty funny, dude.
I mean, he won another Grammy.
Yeah,
right?
He won a Grammy.
That's hilarious. He keeps fucking winning as much as they want to snuff him.
Oh, here's something cool. It was a tribute to Taylor Hawkins, who is fucking dope.
I know that's a sad thing.
It is.
Billie Eilish wore a shirt with his face on it, and it said Hawkins in the back of it, so she was kind of repping it as well. I think that's I think that affects everybody in the industry at some level because he's just such a iconic figure on the drums and just as a persona because he's such a good go happy guy. Yeah, he's always smiling and sick drummer, like so fucking good. I mean, I remember when he was, I remember going, wow, that drummer's fucking badass. Alanis Morissette, like in the background, I'm like, and then you realize later that's fucking Taylor Hawkins, man. Like he's the man, and Dave Grohl is a nasty drummer. So if Dave Grohl has you as his drummer, you're the fucking man. You know what I mean? And that kind of that's like a consistent thing. Like think about Sully too. Sully's, he has gone through how many drummers now? And now he's finally settled.
Not that many, like 3 or 4. And
I mean, that's a lot. That's fucking...
Shannon Larkin, in my opinion, is one of the great rock and roll drummers, but Sully is definitely just as good as him.
Yeah, but he would only select, like he's always, to the point where, he's got someone finally that he feels comfortable with.
Personality. I think it's his personality. They vibe.
Yeah, because Shannon's so fucking easygoing.
Yeah. Just like
he's
Taylor
got no
Hawkins.
ego, zero ego. That's
same shit. Well, unfortunately, that truly does suck because that dude was epic. I saw the Foo Fighters at like the Bowery Ballroom and like whatever right when their first album came out, and the place was pretty packed. It was like I might have been Grammy weekend or some shit in the city, but I remember being in the balcony in the back at the bar, and like the song would stop and people were like, they were ignoring the Foo Fighters, and they were brand new. And I remember yelling and screaming like as loud as I could, "You fucking people are idiots!" Like they had no idea what they were seeing.
Wow,
it was incredible. Like they had mad energy. It was incredible. And I remember looking at that drummer, going, "What the fuck? How did he find this?"
When was this?
Man, I don't know. I want to say it was like 98, 9, 2000, a long time ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you saw them back then?
Oh my God, yeah. It was like. Our management, or the people who signed us to Grand Royal were actually their management, Gold Mountain or whatever. It was John Silver and Gary Gersh, and so it was like kind of we got to hang out and see a lot of that shit that week. It was cool, but that band was incredible, and I remember going, Dave Grohl, like fucking the drummer from the from Nirvana is,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, great band, man. They fucking, and it's so crazy because you're coming from one of the most iconic rock bands ever to now one of the most iconic rock bands ever that's actually probably surpassed Nirvana in regards to
know everyone's seen the meme probably, like Dave Grohl is the drummer, the singer who lost the drummer, and he was the drummer who lost the singer, and both of those bands were like the top bands on the planet, and Dave Grohl's, for all his successes, had a pretty fucking tough one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's what life is. It's a tough thing regardless of where you sit financially or comfort wise, and it's like no matter what you can be dealt a shitty hand in regards to just life in general. Like you could have $1 million and your best friend dies. Like that's not fucking cool. Everyone's always striving to get to this certain level of life, and you can get to that level and shit could still be bad, and you could still see horrible things, and you could still experience bad emotions, and like he's super successful, but that guy's down and out right now,
Well,
like Dave Grohl's
he's down and out. I bet you he's bumming out, but he won 3 Grammys last night.
Yeah, and I'm sure he would give every single one of those Grammys back to have his boy.
Of course. Yeah, it's like bittersweet bullshit.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's
Olivia Rodrigo looks like she crushed it too.
She did. And my thing with Olivia Rodrigo is like I like her. I like everything she's doing. It's just such a fucking ripoff on every level, and that's fine. Everything's a derivative, but hers are so close that I believe she's actually had to give up writing credit on a few of them because they're fucking right there. Like interval, melody, everything. Like she's there. Like that one song that is definitely Hayley Williams Paramore ripoff.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like I heard it right away, and I was like, she's gonna have to give them credit, and I believe she did. I believe she had to give writing credit out.
What is Silk Sonic? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know. I have no clue.
That one song of the year, Leave the Door Open. Beat Ed Sheeran and Alicia Keys, Billie Eilish. I mean, all this shit. Justin Bieber. I've never even heard the two words Silk and Sonic together ever in my life.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I am so disconnected. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that we're so deep in our world right now as creatives in regards to running our own company, and it's hard to pay attention to everything. You know, it's like there's a lot that I do pay attention to, and there's a lot that I don't, and it's overwhelming. There's so much shit in regards to like the world in general, with all the bullshit that goes on, with all the politics, with all the bullshit pandemic and all that, and then you got your family life, and then we got our business life, and we got our creative life. It's just like I don't have the capacity to completely pay attention to everything anymore. I just don't. And I think that goes for everybody. I think everybody in this world right now is burnt the fuck out. And
I hate music. I do. That's why I don't produce records anymore. To me, it's fucking disappointing. I just don't care, and I don't even care to discuss it. But I do like some artists. But as music, like turning on any radio station, who gives a shit? It's diluted.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough you get burnt out as a songwriter, as a producer, as an artist. You get burnt out. It's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of bullshit. It's like, so to pay attention to everybody else's career, it's like I don't know. I mean, you get jaded, you get a little cynical as you get older. You gotta hit these.
Yeah, can you just hit that little side red button? So, Chris Stapleton.
Where am I?
No, that red one, yeah. Is it still recording, though?
All right, we're back.
Yeah. So, Chris Stapleton, and believe me, I don't know shit about country, but it looks like this dude really crushed it last night. And from what I understand, the dude's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I don't know much.
I don't know too much about him either, but yeah, that's the consensus. I mean, the country world is crushing. It's like all the rock fans from, you know, the late 90s to early 2000s era, like that whole transition is now to country in regards to market share. It's crazy. Like country is the fucking new rock.
Yeah, country is hair metal now.
Yeah.
Like 80s hair metal, basically no spandex in country, but the outfits are still corny and it's all full of shit.
Yeah.
The songs are really good, but they're all cheesy.
Yeah. But people love them. It's like good drinking music. It's good party music, hanging out, barbecue. That's why these like country festivals are fucking massive.
They're massive.
And like girls are, you know, there's girls there. That's the big thing. It's like rock lost the girls and the girls went to country. And that's what it is. When you lose the girls, a genre collapses, you know, and that's why hip hop's done so well, because, you know, girls gravitated towards it. Pop's always going to do well because it's pop, but rock is definitely needs to figure out that motion and get the females back on board. And to be honest, though, I'll tell you what, I've been listening to some of the bigger rock playlists on Spotify, and I'm actually enjoying, finally for the first time in a while, a lot of the stuff that's coming up. And I was like, wow, and a lot of it is the new like pop punk sound that's like coming back. Don't even bring up Machine Gun Kelly. That dude is such a piece of shit. Either way, that sound, which is, you got to look at it like that's Travis Barker orchestrating all of this.
Yeah, and he's the drummer version of Machine Gun Kelly to me.
But he is molded this lane, and there's a lot more artists now that are coming through it, and I think that's cool, because like it's like, oh, all right, that there's other artists now that are making their way up, and I'm like, these are badass, like artists I've never even heard of, and I'm like, this song's badass, like it's pretty good. Like there's a lot of good songs coming up from artists that are unknown that in that genre, because now there's a light on them because MGK is doing so well, so everyone's like, oh, let's look at other stuff like this. Let's
that
put it
is
on.
Rock music now.
Yeah.
When someone says, "Oh, rock," it's that shit.
Rock is like, it's like rock and hip hop based now is kind of where it's been molding. Which
a little hip hop, not so much.
There's production elements that are in there, but you're not getting like that four on the floor fucking like bullshit like cock rock anymore, which is good. I'm glad that's kind of getting phased out.
It's basically the Foo Fighters and nothing else. In my bullshit view of rock music, you got the Foo Fighters and nothing else. Some of those other bands are Royal Blood or the Greta fucking Garbo.
Well, those are like the classic rock sounding bands, and those are like traditional rock bands. But I think a lot of like the newer hybrid post hardcore, like Bring Me the Horizon's fucking killing it.
It's my favorite.
Like those guys
are newish band.
They're dope. Like they just did that cover song with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
with Ed Sheeran singing vocals on it. And
I'm glad you brought them up. They're the only modern band that I listen to. Rock bands.
They're badass, and they're doing something different, and that's what's great about them. They're kind of like they're incorporating a lot of elements from all across the grid in regards to music, and they're putting it together, and it's fucking good. Great melodies,
Production's amazing.
Production's badass. I think they do a lot of it their own too. I think the lead singer is a big factor in that. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
He's a weird little cupcake, but man, I love that band. Almost nothing they do I hate.
Yeah,
which is to me it's a little weird because sometimes they'll be super heavy, but in the middle of a heavy song, all of a sudden they're like butterflies and cupcakes, and then it's heavy again, and I love it. I don't know why.
What's cool too is I was in that playlist. There's a ton of Bring Me the Horizon in there, and MGK, and there's a new Avril Lavigne song, which is fucking badass, great written song, and there's a new Papa Roach song. I think they just put out an album. But the song's fucking badass, and my thing is like, man, Papa Roach who was supposed to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
They have managed to like fucking mold, and they're like the cockroaches of rock. He's a genius though. Yeah, he's the fucking man.
They might be the luckiest band since 2000,
but not because Jacoby's such a fucking genius that he's been able to kind of make sure that every genre change that happened in the industry, their album touched.
Of course,
he did it every fucking time.
He also does it with his look. He changes his look where he was like a slightly fat, like dopey looking, almost dare I say nerdy kid back in the day. Then he went from the makeup and the eyeliner, and then he started he's changing constantly.
Yeah, he knows what's up. It's a smart move. He's a genius in regards to that element, and I think Papa Roach is like one of those bands that's just like, wow, they're fucking still killing it, and that's amazing.
They're lucky.
Yeah, luck.
He made luck.
His ability, and then that's my thing is like as a band, as an artist, like you gotta like mold with it. You gotta either be completely innovative but not too far out that it's like, what the fuck are you doing? But it's great to like incorporate elements that people are like gravitating towards. Like, obviously you'll see something happen and the whole industry will incorporate it, right? Like fucking 808s, trap hats, like those elements are there, and you'll see the whole market share be like, that's fucking cool, I like that. And then integrating some of that into like, a newer song or a new album or anything like that is a way to just make sure that you're staying fresh, and obviously if you want to bend the boundaries, but it's like there's a music as a collective is like, the way I think of it is like, it's like, all right, so mushrooms, right? Think about mushrooms in general, like fungus, right? It covers the whole fucking earth, and it all communicates. It's fucking crazy. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I do.
That's fucking so cool. And so like music's kind of the same way when it resonates with everybody. Like all of those elements are connecting in a massive way in regards to like the population of this world, right? And there's elements that everybody will like stick to, and they come and go, but it's like if you can match the timing right and get that stuff correct, then you get on that wavelength with everybody. You get on that fungus communication.
Some mushrooms are magic though, and I like the magic.
And some
ones.
of them will fucking kill you.
Yeah, all right.
So it works.
Pretty good analogy.
It's actually pretty good. Yeah, music is fungus, and not the shit between your toes.
Yeah.
So, or maybe it is.
Cool.
But yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the state of music right now is it's a different place. Live shows seem to be coming back like crazy now. Finally, everyone, and that's the thing too, is I think everybody got a taste of, when you can't have it, you want it more, and now you're seeing that. You're seeing the people start coming back out to live shows, which is very cool. You're seeing a lot of like I went to that open singer-songwriter like open mic night at the Hard Rock in Boston a couple weekends ago to go. I just did like a little speaking, And the place was packed. There was like 250 kids there. And I was like, wow, this is, and then I was talking to Jackie, who runs it. And she was like, yeah, all of our shows have been like this. She's like, it's kind of crazy. And I was like, it's not really though. All these kids have been fucking sitting in a stable saying you can't go out and perform. All these people have been like, oh, you can't go out and watch live music. And now everyone's like, I want to fucking, it's like when you realize you can't have it, you want it more. And that's kind of what's happening right now. And I think it's a good time to be an artist and make sure that you're out there fucking, getting on the shows, putting out shows, getting on tour. It's like, this is a good time. People want
I think that is cool on the lower level. I think it's great. I think it's going to bring music back. But the bigger artists are fucking their fans right now because they're trying to make up for 2 years of no revenue. And for a guy like, I went to look up Elton John tickets for me and my wife, and it was like, $2,400 to get a seat that didn't suck for 2 tickets. Like, give me a break. Even the Deftones are charging like $300, $500. Come on,
in an industry where, in a world, in a market, in an economy where the price of gas is where it's at right now, it's fucking crazy how there's such a disconnect in regards to like the cost of goods, the inflation, the gas prices, and the performance fee to go.
Who the fuck's got money for this?
It's crazy.
Who the fuck has this money?
I mean, if you want to talk about that shit, now you're really dividing the has and the has-nots right now,
But it's not like you go to a show and it's not like, there's 12,000 people here and they're all wealthy. No, not at all.
Well, you got people that are just spending money they don't have to go do these things.
That's really unfortunate.
That's a problem. That's all going to come back, and that's not good. People are, what, am I going to fucking pay rent, or am I going to go see the Deftones? There's fucking stupid people that are going to see the Deftones.
Yeah.
And then they're fucking looking for a GoFundMe to pay their rent. It's like, what the fuck? Priorities, people, figure it out.
Yeah, well, that is terrible. I think that's real bad for music. And not to date myself, but my first concert was seeing like Aerosmith or AC/DC or whatever, and I remember looking on the ticket and it was like $11.25.
Crazy.
And I was just like, so by the time a ticket got to $20, old people shit, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Now they're 1,000.
Yeah, or minimum, more. Yeah.
That's the start. That's the fucking nosebleeds. But I actually, what's cool is I got to see, in regards to like nosebleeds, I got to see the Foo Fighters for the first time. They did an acoustic performance. I believe it was at the Orpheum, and Dave Grohl had a broken leg.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
He was sitting in the throne.
He was sitting in the fucking throne, and I had we got these tickets like last minute. It was Edgar's brother Leo and I. And we were fucking stoned out of our mind. Like, it was to the point that and we didn't even give a flying fuck. So we were literally, our backs were to the wall in the last seat in that theater. You know what I mean? Up at the way at the fucking top. And it just sounded so fucking good. It didn't even matter. It was like one of the best sounding performances I've ever heard in my life, and he was so entertaining. It was so good. It was still to this day, I had the worst seats in the fucking house, but it didn't matter. It sounded so fucking good. They were small, obviously, like visually, but it was amazing. It was like literally one of the greatest sonic experiences of my life, and Leo will say the same thing. It was so good. They were so good, and their acoustic set was amazing. And Taylor Hawkins was great. The way they were communicating back and forth, it was fucking hilarious. It was awesome. It was just such a great show. And then I got to see them twice, I believe. I got shout out to Melanie for hooking me up with tickets at Fenway. I was sitting in like one of the box seats or something like that. We got to see them perform 2 nights, I think, in a row, Fenway.
Not for nothing, but shout out to the Orpheum. I hate the venue, like the way that people conduct themselves, but I've seen 3 or 4 of the best shows in my life there. I saw Slayer there. It was unbelievable. It was the ceiling was breaking apart and you could see stuff coming down. I saw Alice in Chains there. It was one of the loudest, most incredible shows I've ever seen.
That must have been amazing.
It was incredible. I saw the Black Crowes there. It was incredible, and Chris Robinson was calling out the people that worked there because they were just refusing to let a good time happen, but it sounded incredible. Like, it goes on and on. The venue's amazing, but
I think I saw Papa Roach. Actually, I saw Papa Roach there with Johnny. Johnny and I went to see, and you know who opened for them? Oh my God, what's the band that had the massive Michael Jackson hit?
Alien Ant
Farm. And they were fucking unknown, right? No one knew about them yet. And they were like next level. We were like, holy shit, that drummer's sick. Like everything was so tight. That song was like crazy live. It was like, wow, that's fucking a great cover, like, and then next thing we know, like a month later, it was the biggest song in the world at the time. And then I remember that show actually because Jacoby was the fucking man. He's like, so who wants to come on stage right now? Blah, blah. He like picked somebody out of the crowd. He's like, and the kid was clearly not 21. Like, he's like, you 21? Yeah, you are. And he hands him a fucking 40 right there on stage, right? And like, you couldn't get away with the shit now. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, that was awesome. It was one of the coolest fucking rock memories I have. And Jacoby's like, all right, ready? He's like, if you beat me, you could stay on stage for this whole song. And if you don't, you got to get off. And then he's like, all right, ready, go. Boom. Jacoby fucking lights this 40 down in like a second. And then he grabs that kid's and drinks the rest of his. He goes, it's all good. You fucking staying on stage. Let's go. Boom. And the song kicks off and the kid's rocking out with him on stage. It was so badass.
Yeah, that's one of those. That's how they used to do it back in those days. That was like a planned, spontaneous thing. And it was cool, and people loved it. It was great, but you can't get away with that shit now, No.
They'd be like, Jacoby brought up a 13-year-old and gave him a beer and fucking, cancel him.
Cancel him.
Cancel the guy.
Cancel these nuts.
Yeah, for real. But no, it was cool. That was one of my cool memories of the Orpheum. I don't know if I've played the Orpheum.
I have.
I don't think I did.
One of my worst shows ever, I played the Orpheum, and this is kind of funny. We used to use tracks to whatever, and the tracks got screwed up, and I remember looking back at my drummer, and he was so mad that the tracks weren't working right that, he was a fucking animal. He started punching the DAT machine in the mixer, like literally like Mike Tyson would punch somebody. And I'm trying to play this song, and I'm trying not to fucking laugh, and it was a giant like 16 space rack, and the thing was rocking back and forth, and he's like smashing it. It was such a bad show.
That's the worst, though.
It was terrible.
When the tracks go out and it's a fucking mess, you just cut them.
That's what he was trying to do, and not miss a beat.
Cut them and just fucking keep rocking. And then as a drummer, you're like, this sucks because
it's your fault.
Well, or it's just like, it just doesn't sound correct. You don't have that fucking click track for the tempo. It's like,
no,
it's just
gets
a
worse.
fucking
Everything
transition.
about it gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
To me, it's the equivalent, the guitar player equivalent of having different tunings in your guitars for throughout the set, and you grab the wrong guitar and you're playing a half step off for your own song. It's that equivalent. It's bad news.
Well, because now you're thinking.
Well, now you're fucked. Everything you do sounds wrong and bad.
Yeah, and now you're thinking of how to play it.
Yeah,
the other way.
No,
that
I don't
happening.
think like that. I'm not that smart.
You're better off just turning the fucking guitar off and calling it a day.
Yeah, you're better off stopping.
Yeah,
that's the fact.
Or grab the other guitar and fucking call it a day. But yeah, no, that's live music, man, it's back, and I'm excited for it. Even our shows, like Prospect Hill shows, they've been fucking slammed. Like, we just sold out that show in Manchester. We got that other show coming up with Keith Wallen of Breaking Benjamin. So he's got his own, solo album. He's doing really well too. And they're coming to town, Breaking Benjamin. He's going to do his one-off acoustic show, and they asked us to support him. And we're like, yeah, he's a good dude, and the tour manager's a good friend of ours. So we're like, yeah, we'll fucking do it. So, and he's been here. He was here.
Yeah, I remember
when
that.
we did the songwriting sessions for Lansdowne.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's a fucking songwriting machine. Good dude too. So
clearly,
it'll be a good show. That'll be that. I'm sure that'll sell out. And then we have a few other shows booked for the year. But it's like everything's been killing it. Like, I've been watching other people's performances, events online. And I'm seeing them, and there's fucking people at them. And I think before the pandemic, those same events were fucking empty. There was nobody at any of these events. I saw people posting all these things, like no one was showing up. Now people are like, they have that thing, like, it could be taken away from you, which is bullshit. But that mindset is now getting them to come out and appreciate it, which is a good thing, I think, on that side. That's the only
I don't
positive.
think bands have gotten better in the last 2 years. I don't.
No,
I
but
think
people,
it's just desire.
Yeah, and I think people want to go out and experience live music. That's what it is.
Faux show.
Where we at?
I don't know. I think that's pretty good for one of these. We're at about 45, 50 minutes, but we got off the Grammy topic, but to be honest, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
The Grammys don't mean anything. Let's be honest.
Would I like one? I think I'd like one.
Would.
I think I would. I what I'm saying is I don't care to be part of the machine that you have to conform to and play that game with these fucking people. Like, if I was to play the game, I'd like to do it the way Kanye did, and they can call me crazy, and that's what it is.
That's sheer force.
Yeah.
That's force of nature shit that can't be stopped.
Yeah. Dude, did you watch that documentary yet? Genius?
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. He's the man.
Something happened at some point, though. Something happened. Like, he he was not that crazy, or it was the narrative of the doc. But by the end, man, everything's coming out of his mouth kind of like, whoa, dude.
Yeah. Well, his mother died.
Yeah, that could be it.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that could be it.
It's a tough one. You see it from, they were very close. That was his rock. She died and kind of sent him off the edge. And I believe, I'm pretty sure he was he's the one that paid for that surgery too. So that fucks with your brain. She died from that surgery that he paid. It was a plastic surgery that went wrong. And, you know, like that might fuck with you too at some level where it's like you kind of feel like you might be responsible for, you know, I don't know. That's a tough one though. I would feel like, whoa, I just fucking
he broke with reality though. He definitely did.
Yeah, you know, that's a tough one. You funded something that killed your
Plus,
mom.
he became a megalomaniac. He became too big for his own brain. He dumped all his original people. I mean, this is a story that happens every fucking time.
It happens all the time.
You might even say like a guy like Joyner Lucas may have done shit like that. You know what I mean?
No shit. So, yeah, that was a funny post I saw this morning. It's like, it's. I don't think it's cool at all. I don't like it at all. I think he's not being fair to people that were there with him at the very beginning, and he's kind of just rubbing in people's faces. And nothing to take away from the guys who work with now. I think they're very talented as well, but that's a fuck you what he posted this morning. And I don't support that. I think that's a fucked up thing on his part, and I think he knows it, and I think he's being a fucking punk. So I think that's a punk move. You know, it's like, you know, that whatever the situation was, regardless of whatever happened on that fallout, that wasn't a praise. That was a fuck you.
So people who don't know, and we'll be brief about this, Joyner fucked his original production team, video production team, in favor of a couple of fucking corn dogs, and he was gloating about it this morning as they were his day ones. Whatever, irrelevant. Who gives a shit? But that's what people do when they get big. They dump the people who work hard for them in favor of what they think might be better. And it's almost definitely never correct. That's because you see almost all artists will slide off and become less as they go on in their career. Very few stay at that level, but very few also stay with the same people. So there is definitely something to that.
Yeah, and we only have one side of it. And to be fair, I like you know, Connor, who's working with him now. I like that kid. He's a good kid. I don't know the fallout between him and whatever, but I don't know the situation entirely there. But I think what he's doing right now, and it's not fair to those guys either. They don't even realize it, but they're next on the chopping block because that's just his fucking mentality. Correct. And he's that guy that doesn't give a flying fuck about anyone else but himself, and he's gonna step on anyone in the way. And what he did is kind of still a fucking dig to somebody that put a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of faith, a lot of sweat equity into him. And I don't appreciate it. I think it's a fucked up thing, and I think as a man, that's a fucking real low move, you know?
And typical,
you know, megalomaniac shit. So, but yeah, we can end it on a positive note.
And what would that be?
I don't know what's going on this week. We got a bunch of shit going on. It's good stuff, but we got a bunch of good meetings here at the studio. We're going to be announcing a Red 13 Studios artist showcase at the end of the month in Lawrence, which is going to be cool. We got a bunch of artists that are confirmed for it. I think we got 8 of them, so that'll be fun. That'll be good. Everyone can
future Grammy winners. So that'll be, I believe, April 30th on that Saturday. Might be is it the 29th or the 30th? Hold up. It's the 30th Saturday, so that'll be announced probably later today. So that'd be something cool to check out. But yeah, for those who don't know, Mark and I are partners. We have a couple of locations, a bunch of recording studios, video production company called Red 13 Studios and Red 13 Creative, and that's what he's talking about. We do a lot of artist development and things like that, and you know, that's why we even have opinions on the bullshit we've been spouting for the last hour.
Yeah. Who are you telling that to? Like our moms and our friends?
I'm telling it to the one person
no
listening
one's
to this
fucking
shit.
No.
That one person is going to go, who are these assholes and why they keep saying that stuff? So
yeah, how did this get put in my fucking next up on YouTube?
Yeah.
Who are these assholes?
Yeah.
That's who we are.
We paid the marketing price to get on your next up.
We didn't pay shit. You got fucked. Now you got to watch us.
Cool. Let's wrap it up. That was cool.
All right, cool.
There'll be another one in a minute. We're just going to keep on churning these things out. And
by the next one, we'll have a name.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And if you do give a fuck and you are watching, comment. Tell us what to talk about. We're not afraid of anything. So.
Damn.
Cool.
All right. Over.
Whoa.